In the bustling heart of Lagos, amidst the vibrant markets and thriving businesses, there stands a beacon of creativity and craftsmanship. This is the story of Mrs. Abimbola, a pioneer in the shoemaking industry. Welcome to Mona Matthews, a luxurious haven for bespoke footwear, where each pair tells a story of dedication and artistry. Meets Mrs. Abimbola, the visionary behind this thriving business. Her journey from a humble beginning to becoming a renowned shoe designer. From elegant stilettos to sturdy boots, from casual loafers to sophisticated brogues, every shoe in her collection is a testament to her skill and passion. Mrs. Abimbola is not just a shoemaker, she is a trailblazer, an artist, and a mentor. Her dedication to her craft and her community makes her a true inspiration.
My name is Monalisa Abimbola Azeh. I run a 22-year-old Nigerian leather brand called Mona Matthews. At Mona Matthews, we make exquisitely crafted leather shoes and handbags for men, women, and school-aged children. Well, two things. The first thing is that I couldn't find the kind of shoes that I liked in my size because my feet are quite wide and I have something on my feet called a bunion. It's like a bone that juts out on the front part of my foot, and I have it conspicuously on one foot, so I also have one foot wider than the other. And I got to a point where it was really difficult to get well-fitted shoes for me. At a point in my life, if I was going to a function, literally I would take Panadol just to alleviate the pain, and then 2 hours after, when the Panadol is wearing off, I would be like Cinderella. I would have to leave the party, so that was the first thing that made me venture into looking for shoes. And I noticed that Nigerian young men were wearing real leather shoes, and I started making inquiries that, like, wait, because at that time the people who were selling shoes here were going to places like Dubai to go and bring in non-leather shoes, So I started making inquiries, and I found out that there was actually a leather market in Mushi, and there were craftsmen who were able to make good-looking shoes. So I asked them, and I said I wanted someone. They said most of them were like, they don't make female shoes. So I really had to struggle to get people who could make real leather shoes for women. For men, not a problem. Quite a lot of people make shoes for men in Nigeria, but for women, it was an uphill task. So I took up the challenge. But at the time, I was also practicing law and doing a few other things. I was working in the church office of the church I attended at the time, So I felt it was time for me to move on, and I spoke to my pastor, and he was like, so when you leave here, what are you going to do? I said, well, I have this option, I have that option, I have several options. He said, why don't you go and pray about it and ask God, what does he really want you to do? And I did, and what was laid on my heart was to make shoes. That's how I chose that career. Yes, I learned from people. I learned from my shoemakers. If I was a civil servant, I would say it was in-service training. So essentially, because of my age, at the time I started, I was 39. I've been wearing shoes for 39 years, or let's say 38 years of my life. I had worn good quality shoes. I had the privilege of traveling abroad to buy shoes. So I knew what good quality shoes looked like and felt like, So I didn't learn shoemaking formally. And that was because I chose a business model that did not require for me to physically make the shoes myself. The angle of the business that I do is to design. And what I do is I interface with my customers. I understand what my customers require. I understand what their pain points are. what are the difficulties they have in getting shoes, who are the people who find it most difficult to get shoes in Nigeria and in different parts of the world, And so that's where I started from. So I started from a business angle. I went to a business school, In fact, I went to 2 different business schools, and I did 3 different courses in business, in how to become a proper entrepreneur, how to run my business effectively, and all of that. So I focused on that aspect. So I learned customer service, and things like that. And but in the actual making of the shoes and how to arrive at a pair of shoes that is really nice and everything, I learned from my shoemakers. I outsourced production to local shoemakers who have their own workshops. So what I do is I learn from them. I ask questions, and I'm using the word learn because I still learn. I still learn. I ask questions. If something is wrong with a pair of shoes and I can't tell what it is, if a more experienced shoemaker comes in, I'll show it to him. What do you think? What can we do? What should we have done? Where did we make mistakes? And then I do what I call research and development with my shoemakers. So we start a new design, we try it out, we rejig it, we tweak it a bit and see how can we make this better. We test it, we wear it, we walk around in it, we see what's wrong with it, how can we make this better, how can we give our customers an exciting experience when they wear our shoes. Okay, let me start with the challenges when it comes to designing. Remember I said that it was easier to find shoemakers who could make male shoes than to make female shoes. A lot of the shoemakers were like, oh, you women, your wahala is too much. You want this color, you want that color, you want this heel, you don't want that heel, And I usually say to people that the way we sew women's clothes, where we want all the angles and the shapes to be, that's exactly how we are with our shoes. For men, you just sew buba and shokoto, use rope to tie it at the waist, okay, but women, we like the curves to show, and it's like that with our shoes. So men can wear loafers. Inside, his toes may not even pass more than 3/4. In front, maybe, but once the shoes are fit and once the shoes fit and they're comfortable, the man is typically okay. But for women, no, our toes must show, and stuff. So the first challenge was even getting men who could understand that. But I think that the advantage I have as a woman is that I can interpret to the male shoemakers what women want in their shoes and why we're doing certain things. For instance, there's one thing that men don't understand. Why do women have so many shoes? There's a research that says that the average woman has at least 40 pairs of shoes. Average American, European woman. And I'm sure a lot of Nigerian women that can afford it are also the same. And it's because I tell men that we have hormones that you don't have. So there are times in a month that a woman's feet will swell. There are times when she just does not feel like doing anything stressful. But there are times when she doesn't mind. Even if the shoes are tight, she will wear them. The dress is tight, she will wear them. The wig is long, she will wear it. The gele is hard, she will tie it, So we have our moods, and all of that. And we swing. So you want to have so many shoes because you want to be able to wear what you feel like wearing, when you feel like wearing it, in the color that you want to wear it. So that was a problem for the male shoemakers. It was a problem for the people selling leather in the market. They were used to just black, brown, navy blue, army green for the men. But here I wanted coral, I wanted aqua marine, I wanted mint green, I wanted peach, turquoise blue, I wanted colors. So I didn't have that much variety in the market. So one of the things we did was we started to use fabric. We used satin, we used raw silk, we used different kinds of fabric to bring out the colors that we needed. Because one of the things that we do is we do made to measure, we do bespoke. So if you're getting married or your daughter is getting married and you've chosen an outfit, we can match that outfit for you, But the good side to that is, when I said 22 years ago, that was a problem. But today, a lot of the people who sell leather in the market are women. Some of the men have stepped back and allowed their wives, their sisters, and so on to run that part of the business. So when you go to the market these days, you will find leather in more exciting colors than when we first started. And how did we achieve that? I always say to my shoemakers, keep asking. Keep asking. When there's a demand, the supply will come. Keep asking, and that's what has evolved. What other problems have we faced? We faced, of course, again, even manpower. People. So when we first started, a lot of even the people who were making shoes for men, they were writing. They would make the shoes, then they would find a Gucci label or Yves Saint Laurent label or Armani label, and just put it on the shoes. And then you people go to the back of Monalisa and you'll be buying made in Nigeria Armani shoes. So I said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to put proudly made in Nigeria. We're going to put Mona Matthews Lagos. We want to identify with Lagos. We want people to know these shoes are made in Nigeria and that good things can come out of Nigeria. So we started to upskill our shoemakers, We just keep demanding good quality from them. If it's not the quality we want, we will not accept, we will not receive. Over and over and over. It cost money, it took time, it was painful. Those who could not meet up with our demands fell by the wayside. Those who could did, and what you find is that we now developed a crop of shoemakers who could do what we want. We're looking to expand that. We're looking to train more people because the business is growing and the demand is rising, and we would like to have more people coming. The way we run is that we make you specialize. So if we see that you're good with sandals, flat sandals, we just let you stay there, but you just keep doing it. And the more you do it, the more expert you become. If we see that you're good with the female high heels, then we'll keep you on female high heels, and you just keep doing it. And don't forget that fashion is dynamic, it keeps changing. So what does it take to work with my team? Humility. I would go for character before I go for skill. Skill can be acquired. Most people's characters are already formed. So if you're a humble and a teachable person, we'll welcome you. If you are ready to learn, we'll teach you. But you must have that spirit of humility. Then you must also understand why we demand excellence. I get the question very well. Look at me very well. Do I look like somebody that's afraid of that you're a man or you're a woman? Every time they ask me that question, I tell them, to me it's totally irrelevant. I grew up between two boys. I grew up as a tomboy. They begged me to become more feminine. I climbed trees. I rode bicycles. I played hockey. I'm not that kind of person. And I studied law. Maybe in my days you could have said it was a male-dominated, But the way I was brought up not to think that I had any limitations because I was a woman. My brothers were also brought up not to think that they couldn't do housework or cook or clean because they were men. So the way my personal background, I think, prepared me for this kind of life. And I've never thought that there was anything I couldn't do because of my gender. That it just doesn't occur to me. I've never thought that they didn't give me something because I'm a woman. No. I might think, I didn't do well, or I didn't present myself properly, or I didn't prepare properly. But that you said because, no, it doesn't. I'm always the last person you should ask that question. It's not a problem. And if you say shoemaking is a male-dominated industry, yes, maybe from production perspective. But from the buying perspective, women buy more shoes. If a man and a woman walk in here today that want to buy shoes, I can tell you the woman will walk out with more shoes than the man will. Almost always, And so, isn't it better to have a woman who understands the needs of the people that buy more shoes at the helm of affairs of this kind of industry? The category of clients that I have are people who demand, recognize, and expect good quality. See, it's a mind thing. There are people who have the money but don't understand why the shoes should cost that much. And there are people who may not necessarily have the money, but they aspire, and the day they have the money, they'll come and buy. And I use a washerwoman I used to have as an example. She used to wash my clothes. She used to come to my house and wash my clothes. And eventually she built her own house in Mowe. Today she's a landlady in Mowe, and she has a laundromat. She has machines and people working for her. But she started out as a laundry woman that would come to your house at 6 a.m. and wash your clothes. And she bought my shoes. And she still buys my shoes. Why? She appreciates, she has big feet. Number one. Number two, she appreciates the quality. She would tell me that she would rather save and buy one because she knows how long it will last and how comfortable they are and how fit for purpose for her that they are. Today she's a grandmother. She still does her business through people, you understand. So, but I think also because she's someone that works with her hands, she appreciates what goes into making a pair of our shoes. Do you understand? So, yes, you might buy cheaper shoes, but how long will they last? How comfortable are they? If you're able to wear tight shoes that with discomfort and you are fine, no problem. If you can wear synthetic shoes, when you bring your feet out, your feet are smelly, no problem. But if you know what good shoes are and what it feels like to wear a pair of shoes, if you travel and you can wear a pair of shoes for 16 hours without feeling anything and the shoes don't disintegrate, your feet don't disintegrate, if you appreciate that quality, then you are my customer. So it's not really price points. Yes, they are not cheap by any standards, but it's not so much the price points. It's the value you place on the work. It takes, the least it can take a shoemaker to finish a pair of shoes is 4 hours from start to finish. 4 hours, as in the simplest pair of slippers, to take at least 4 hours. You know, if it's the more complicated styles, some of the shoes that you see on our rack have the input of 2-3 different people in producing just one pair. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's the person who appreciates that, who would wear them with pride. And then on top of that, the person who is saying these shoes were made in Lagos, I will buy them. Those are my customers. Those are my customers. So how global is Mona Matthews? We have customers in Canada, United States of America. We have customers in the United Kingdom. Our shoes have been sold in South Africa. We have customers that live in Ghana. We have customers from different parts of the world. And I'm going to tie it with the economic situation. I'm one of the people that the Japa syndrome benefits in 2 ways, and the economic as well. I'm not going to lie, everybody has had one thing or the other, but this is a few things. Number one, Japa. Some people that when they were in Nigeria may not have been able to afford or appreciate our shoes. Having gone abroad and seeing even the quality that is there vis-a-vis the prices we're selling in Naira, they realize that we are offering better value. A gentleman just left now. I think he ordered like 7 pairs. He lives in England. He saw the shoes. He took a pair off his brother-in-law and then he ordered like 7 or 8 pairs. And then, and he lives in England because he's seen the quality of the shoes, you know. That's one. Two, people who used to travel abroad to buy shoes, and the value of the Naira that depreciated against the dollar, when they look at our shoes and the value, don't forget we're talking about real leather here, you know, they realize that it's better to buy these shoes. So a few years back, people used to travel abroad to buy shoes. Now people are coming here to buy things, not just shoes. A lot of Nigerian fashion items are being bought from here and sent abroad. And we are really experiencing and enjoying that too, you know. People buy as gifts. I even have people that are saying, I'm traveling next week, I need to buy shoes to travel with. Do you get? Which used to be the reverse before. So those are things that we're seeing, the trends that we're seeing and that we're enjoying, you know, and we would like to enjoy more of that. We need to set up a production center of our own. You know, I said I work with the local shoemakers and all of that, but what we are finding is that the pace at which demand is coming, we need to ramp up our production capacity. We need to be able to produce larger volumes and still maintain our quality, and that's what we're working towards. We're also working towards more distribution centers, you know, both online and physical stores, because with shoes sometimes you just have to try them on, you know. So we're looking at expanding into different areas, both in Lagos, Nigeria, and different parts of the world as well. We're actually speaking to one state government. We're speaking to them, but I mean, that one is still under wraps. So when it does come to fruition, you will hear about it. My name is Monalisa Abimbola Azeh, CEO of Mona Matthews.
Mrs. Abimbola's story is a testament to innovation, perseverance, and passion. She's not just making shoes, she's making a difference. As we conclude this documentary, we celebrate Mrs. Abimbola's success and the impact she's having on her community. The future is bright, and the shoes are even brighter.